So I started my spiritual path when I was 18 years old. I'm now 25, so it's been 7 years. And in these 7 years, it took me that long to actually understand how to meditate. I'm a very mental person. I think a lot, I analyze a lot. I spend a lot of time in my mind. For all these years, when I would sit in silence, I would sit to meditate and close my eyes and go within, it was literally torture. Like within 3 minutes, 5 minutes, like I'm itching, I'm uncomfortable, I'm moving, I'm checking the time. It never clicked, it never felt right for me. So with all spiritual concepts, with all spiritual practices, they're meant to be studied and then they're meant to be applied consistently. Heavy emphasis on consistently. Because it is only through the application of these practices and of this information where your consciousness begins to shift. It's where the practice and the concept will begin to actually teach you. It will begin to change you as a person. It'll change your perception of yourself, of reality. It'll change the way you think, the way that you see, but only through application, not just through study. So a lot of people get stuck in the world of analyzing and studying and reading and thinking that they know. It's all thoughts, but they don't actually go into the world of application, of doing, of being, of becoming. That is the nectar of the spiritual path, is when you become. Meditation is not about completely silencing your mind and reaching nirvana within 3 days of practicing. Meditation is a gradual process, okay? And the whole purpose of meditation is to shift your perspective. Instead of being the thinker, you become the observer of the thoughts. The purpose of meditation is to control the awareness and keep your awareness focused on the now. And understanding that in the now is where the peace is. In the now is where the spiritual nectar lies. Not in the future, not in the past, not in your ex-boyfriend, not in the trauma from your childhood, not in the food you're gonna eat later, not in social media, not in all the distractions. That's not where the spiritual nectar lies. The spiritual nectar will start to present itself as you begin to create space to be more receptive. Meditation is not really an action. It's not something that you do. It's just a state of consciousness that you tune into. To be meditative. To be meditative is to be aware of the present moment and understanding that everything around you is created from your thoughts. And you can either be lost in those thoughts or you can be in control and conscious of those thoughts. And the more meditative that you become, the more control that you have over your reality, over your thoughts, over your feelings, over your reactions, over all things. So a big part of meditation is recognizing the difference along with the similarity of your inside world and the outside world. So to begin with, when you create time to meditate, that is not your time to focus on the outside. You don't focus on your plans for the day. You don't focus on the food you're gonna eat. You don't focus on what you saw on social media. You don't focus on the rest of your month about whatever. You don't focus on the outside. When you're sitting in meditation, whether it's for 5 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, that's your time to focus on your internal world, to observe what are the things going on in your mind. What do you feel inside? What are the stories in your head? What are your beliefs? It's pretty much your time to self-reflect, to put that mirror in front of your consciousness and to see what's going on there. You are analyzing it with the purpose to decode it, to then consciously create what you want to believe, who you want to be, the things that you want to do. And then the connection of the outside world is that the more that we control the inner world, the more the outside world changes. People that are deep meditators are also very deep creators of their reality because they understand the power of their mind, of their consciousness, of their attention. Meditation is the groundwork towards shifting the outside world. So as you build your attention, as you build your concentration through consistent meditation, then use those skill sets that you developed in your mind to then manifest and create things in the outside world. But it first begins within. It's first an internal job before it is external. That's why you have to create and commit a daily time to meditate so you can build those skills and those qualities within yourself. And you can also kind of shed your false self, shed the limiting beliefs, shed the lack of attention, shed those things that block you from creating your reality. And then you focus on building the qualities that will help you become the creator of your reality. And another huge component that helped me in my understanding, in my ability to meditate, was doing Vipassanas. Vipassana is a silent meditation retreat. The word Vipassana means to see clearly in Sanskrit. And I did my first Vipassana last year when I was in Thailand. I did 11 days, and it's pretty strict. Like you wake up 4:30 a.m., you meditate pretty much like 7 to 8 hours a day with breaks in between. You are fasting most of the day. No cell phone, no reading, no journaling, no yoga, no other practices. Like you pretty much are doing nothing but sitting with yourself and doing the meditation practices that they teach you. It's freaking uncomfortable and it's freaking incredible. You don't usually ever create time in your life to do nothing but self-reflect. Our world is so fast moving. There's so much distraction. There's so much obsession with the ego and the outside world. So when you do a Vipassana, you let go of all of those things. And you literally just focus on the internal world. You focus on dissolving the ego, letting go of all the things that you think you need, that you think you are. You focus on waking up inside. And my first meditation retreat, I didn't really have like a crazy breakthrough, but I did have certain shifts in my consciousness which then began to unfold in my reality and really change the way that I show up and the way that I act. One of my biggest takeaways from my first Vipassana was the concept of impermanence, that nothing lasts forever. The good does not last forever and the bad does not last forever. The thoughts that I'm having right now will not last. Nothing lasts forever, therefore you cannot hold on to it. Meditation helps you to stay in that neutral flow where you are just moving through things. You don't attach to it, you don't identify to it, you don't hold on to it, you just observe it, you witness it, you see it, and you allow it to be whatever it wants to be and you let it go. So that was a great experience. And then fast forward 3 months later, I did another Vipassana because I was still in Asia, and I did this one in Sri Lanka. This one was much less traditional and I actually really enjoyed it. It was a 4-day retreat. And my biggest takeaway from this retreat was the most simple sentence ever. Meditation is the relaxation of your mind. When he broke it down to me, I like simple terms. I like simple wording because they say if you can explain something simply, it means that you genuinely understand it. And when I really sat with that meditation is a relaxation of the mind, I realized, wow, meditation is so hard for me because it's so hard for me to relax my mind because I am so overactive, or I was so overactive in my mind. I did not have the ability to relax the mind. All I knew how to do was to be on constant thinking, constant analyzing. And what these 2 meditation retreats did, they kind of broke the veil for me and they kind of pushed me into the direction of, okay, I actually have to meditate. Whether I like it or not, whether I'm progressing or not, whether it feels good or not, like I have to meditate. That's just what was like planted into my mind. So I had a very interesting intuition on the flight back from my trip to Asia to read this book that I've had for many years, but I never read it. And it just popped in my head and I knew that there was some insight in this book for me. This is Journey of Awakening, a Meditator's Guidebook by Ram Dass. So I started to have these very beautiful natural synchronicities about meditation. I was attracting certain gurus like Ram Dass, Yogananda. I was studying their books and just naturally I started to understand everyone is pointing back to the path of meditation. I was a very big like psychedelic user and like all the spiritual practices and whatnot, but I always kind of avoided meditation. I avoided the foundational groundwork. So now at this point in my life, I started to realize, like, wow, everything is pointing me to this path of meditation. So I might as well start meditating. I had somewhat of a practice. I would meditate maybe 20 minutes a day, go 3 days, then stop for a week and then start again. And I started to notice my own inconsistencies. It's really started to turn me off because I was like, I'm not going to grow spiritually. I'm not going to rise into my higher self through being inconsistent, through not following through on my word, and through not having a routine. I started to realize my own inadequacies, my laziness, my inconsistencies, and I started to crack the whip on myself because I love myself enough to grow and to be honest. One day I finally got sick of my own bullshit, of my own inconsistencies, and I decided I'm never going to stop meditating. Every single day I'm going to meditate. And just yesterday I hit my 100th day in a row of meditation. And I now understand that meditation is a way of life. It is a choice. Whether you are seeing huge results or whether nothing is happening, you still meditate. You still show up to practice, to observe your thoughts, to sit in silence, to go inward. And in this instant gratification world, meditation is one of the best practices to teach you that slow, steady compound is the best way to have the most profound breakthroughs. Meditation will not give you the crazy spiritual shift, just from one time meditating. The real nectar of the practice comes from consistent practice, showing up every day, no matter what, to create the space to go within, to self-reflect, to empty the mind, to observe what's going on, and to go back into the role of being the conscious creator and observer. So really, meditation is not a practice. It's not a spiritual concept. It's nothing beyond a lifestyle. That's where so much of my life changed. I stopped overthinking about what meditation was, what it looked like, Like, of course, I studied and practiced different forms of meditation, but I stopped overanalyzing and I just started to practice every single day, no matter what. I made it a part of my lifestyle. And with time, the art, the truth, the purpose of meditation started to show itself. It started to teach me in the most subtle, beautiful, and profound ways. And meditation is not one set way. It's not a specific look or act or practice. There are infinite ways to meditate. Every time you show up in meditation, it's going to be different. And these are just things that we learn to accept. We learn to work with it. We learn to flow with it. And one day you'll look in the mirror, or you'll just be going about your day and you're like, holy shit, I'm a meditator. I freaking meditate with ease and with joy, and it's a part of my life, and it changed my life. Meditation changed my life. Meditation brought me closer to God. It brought me closer to myself. I meditate because I honor God. I honor myself. I honor the inward reflection because I know within myself is where all things are possible, so I can then change my outside world. If I don't create the time to go within, my outside world will always give me resistance. I will always be very far away from stepping into the role of being the creator if I don't take time and space to go within. Meditation will help you to merge the outside and the inside. It helps you to merge the dualities. And I can't even lie, this might be an ego thing, but I love power. I love to be powerful. And I feel like meditation is one of the greatest tools to cultivate inner power, because you are cultivating control of your mind, which is the greatest form of power. But most people don't ever want to create time to sit in silence because their mind is so uncontrolled, so overactive. Their mind controls them. The more that you embrace and enjoy meditation, it shows that you begin to step into the role of controlling your mind, and then you step into the role of creating your reality. It's all very interconnected. And understand that it's a journey. Meditation unfolds itself with time, but you have to want it, you have to surrender yourself to it, and you have to allow it to teach you and allow it to take its time. And keep your heart open. Enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, and I hope that you begin to implement a daily meditation practice. God is waiting for you. Much love, many blessings. Until tomorrow. Bye.